straight in the hole.
Get him.
How y'all doing? BP Outdoors here and welcome back to a new video. So today, where are we at, Brian?
Golf course pond, Bengal.
Golf course pond. I look like a queer with this hat on, but no, it's okay. Yeah, because I'm wearing it backwards. We're setting some traps right now, and pond's not very big. It's pretty big. We got some other people behind us, and yeah, we're gonna get to fishing. You on there?
Yep.
Oh yeah. Is that it?
Oh, you son of a bitch. Drop him back down there and shake it a few times. He came up and whacked it again.
You didn't take it?
No, he just came up and whacked it.
Short striking. Hey, where are we at?
River Pond, once again.
One of our very first
We've
videos.
been waiting.
Yeah.
We're here.
We're about to do the first ice hole. Let's get it. Let's catch some crappie. Woo!
Just good. The garden strikes the pool. And what's cool about this
This is right here. That little jiggier thing a little bit. This little mark right here. You guys don't know what this is.
right here is my jig.
Yeah.
See, I'm moving it.
And show them where the bottom is.
Bottom is solid red right here. That's the bottom.
Yeah. So
Anything in between this, the red and the blue here,
is a fish.
is a fish. So, let's see if we pick one up.
First flag, boys. What? Well, we don't know if there's not yet.
Still decent.
Hey guys.
No! He got off! Ah!
So I'm gonna try to do this as quick as possible. I'm in my grandmother's apartment room, kind of like family thing that everybody uses, and something's probably gonna be happening around 1, which is like 10 minutes. So I'm gonna try to explain this. I hope you guys did enjoy that video right there. I didn't get much clips because you gotta understand how friggin' cold out it was. It was like 3 degrees. The wind was blowing. I could barely keep my hands on my pockets, just a jig. So yeah, it was pretty bad. But I want to explain something for the end of the video. I had my first confrontation, which I did not get on video. It really sucks. I really, really wanted it on video. But my video is back in the sled, so I'll just explain it right here. So there's this family of like 9 that were fishing earlier on that day. And I went over there because I'm that type of fisherman to go over and say, hey, did you catch any crappie? Which we were targeting earlier. And one of the guys told me they caught a couple. So I was like, okay, we've only caught like 40 little tiny yellow perch all day. So I go over there and they say that. So I go back and it's around a couple hours later and they're all leaving. So I was like, all right, I'm just going to go over there, drop a line in. And Brian's a good 300 plus yards away from me. So he's pretty far away. So I go drop a line in. And I looked to the bank where they kind of went over the bank. And apparently there was this daughter and her like older either mother or grandmother. And they were still there, but like their family was leaving. And I heard from the bank one of the guys that was getting to his truck say, well, that didn't take him that long, which I thought nothing of because it's negative. I'm not going to think anything of it. So the grandmother comes around the corner and she goes, she looks at me and says, F you, and gives me the finger. So I was like, are you serious right now? You own a camp on the lake and you have to do that to some 16-year-old kid that just wants to fish? I was like, that ain't right. So I didn't think nothing of it. And so like a minute later, Brian yells at me. Remember, he's a good 300 yards out, so he can barely hear me. So he's yelling to me, what did I catch? And I said, well, I didn't really catch anything here, but since he couldn't hear me, I showed the gesture that woman made to me. I said, this woman in this house over here flipped me off. And now that I think back on it, the way I did it is I showed Brian was over here. I showed him that she gave me the finger by going like this, and it was facing their house. So to her and her house, it looked like I was flipping her off, which I would never do. I'm not that type of fisherman. So all of a sudden, I see the window open, and the daughter kind of look at me in a mad face. I'm like, what now? So the grandmother's coming out, and she's storming on the ice. She's walking towards me. I'm like, oh, God. Here we go. So she's approaching me. I say, hey, ma'am, how you doing? She gets right face to face with me. She looks at me and says, I want you to leave. And I said, hold on, what's going on, ma'am? She goes, you just flipped me off. I said, no, I did not, ma'am. But I said, I do not like your gesture towards me at the bank when I'm just trying to drop a line and just fish. And she goes, what are you talking about? I said, you just flipped me off and told me to F off. And she goes, no, I waved at you. I said, okay, hold on, ma'am. And at this point, Brian's approaching me. He's coming, he's on his way. He's quite far out, so he's walking towards me. I should have yelled to get the camera, but I didn't. I said, hold on, ma'am. I said, it looked like you gave me the finger. I might have saw you wrong, but I clearly heard you say F off. She kept telling the story that she was just waving to us. Like, I'm about 200 feet from the bank. I can hear her, what she said. So I said, do you wave and say F off? That just doesn't make sense. So this whole time, she's saying she's going to call the game warden service on me because she thinks I flipped her off. And I'm trying to tell her this whole time, ma'am, I would never flip you off. Even though you flipped me off, I'm not going to do that. And she's acting offended by the finger when she's swearing like crazy at me. And then she brings up the story of she's going to call the game warden to kick me out of here and how she's an ex-cop. Maybe she was, maybe she ain't. I don't know that. So I'm trying to calm her down. I looked at her and I was trying to tell her this whole time that, ma'am, if I'm in the wrong, I'll admit it to you. I'm that type of ice fisherman. If I'm in the wrong, I'm going to apologize to you. I'll leave. There's plenty of other places on this friggin' lake to fish. But she wouldn't let me speak. She kept interrupting me, saying, don't talk to me. So at this point, Brian approaches and he's pretty close. And she looks at my friend Brian and goes, is this your kid? I was like, are you serious right now? You're not going to get my buddy into this. You just don't do that. And Brian goes, no, ma'am, this is my best friend. And so she goes, what's going on? And she proceeds to tell him that I flipped her off. And I was like, I looked at him. I said, I never flipped her off. So I'm trying to resolve this conflict. And she kept putting her hand right here in my face. I'm like, come on. So Brian goes, I've known this kid for 4 years, ma'am. He wouldn't do that. And she kept saying, well, I saw him do it and stuff like that. This whole time I'm trying to explain to her I would never do that. Ma'am, can I just shake your hand to be a respect? We'll leave, which at this point, I'm like, yeah, let's just go. And this is what she confused me with. Since she's an ex-cop, I'm pretty sure, comment down below if any of you have cop family or family members or cousins or whatever. She goes, I don't shake hands, that's not my thing. I'm pretty sure in cop code that is after a conflict to resolve it, you're supposed to shake each of the parties' hands. I'm pretty sure, like I said, I don't know it for sure. But she said that, so I left. And then yeah, I actually won't tell that part. But anyway, it kind of wowed me that you get so mad at something, which I can kind of see you don't like to be flipped off, but she flipped me off first. And again, I never flipped her off. I was showing Brian, because he could barely hear me, what she was doing. But as I look back on it, it was facing her house. So, but even then, you don't come out, and if she would have just let me tell her that I never flipped her off, if she would have let me tell her what I felt without interrupting me 100 times, we could have resolved it, but she wouldn't let me speak. So yeah, I hope you guys liked this video. If you did enjoy it, leave it a like, subscribe if you haven't yet, turn on those post notifications, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.